You've been in this situation before, haven't you? You're talking to a woman who seems incredible. The conversation is flowing. She's laughing, but something's missing. There's no spark, no tension. And the harder you try to create it, the more it slips away. You're being attentive, respectful, doing all the things you think you're supposed to do. But instead of building attraction, you're watching it fade in real time. And here's what makes it so frustrating. You're not doing terrible things. You're just approaching desire the way most men do, like it's something you can logic your way into, like kindness and consistency should naturally translate into attraction. But female desire doesn't work that way. It doesn't follow rational patterns. It operates on emotional frequencies that bypass conscious thought entirely. Today, I'm breaking down 8 psychological mechanisms that actually generate desire. Not polite interest, not friendly affection, but the kind of pull that makes a woman think about you when you're not around. And that 8th one, it's the mechanism almost nobody uses correctly. The one that can shift an entire dynamic faster than anything else I'm going to mention. Stay with me because by the end of this, you'll understand why your previous approaches failed and what actually creates attraction instead of just talking about it. Here's the truth that nobody told you growing up. Attraction isn't a reward for good behavior. School didn't teach you this. Your parents probably didn't explain it. Society sold you a story that sounds fair, but doesn't reflect reality. Be nice, be attentive, demonstrate you'd be a good partner, and she'll naturally feel drawn to you. But that's not how the deeper machinery of desire operates. Attraction is a response to specific signals, emotional cues, psychological patterns that her brain processes automatically, often before she's even aware of what she's feeling or why. Research in evolutionary psychology shows that much of attraction happens through mental shortcuts, patterns her brain recognizes instantly and responds to without rational analysis. Once you understand these patterns, you stop forcing outcomes. You stop chasing validation. You naturally become the kind of man women pursue instead of tolerate. Where are you watching from, by the way? Drop your location below. I'm Isabella, and I want to know where you all are tuning in from. All right, let's get into the 8 mechanisms. Mechanism 1, embodied confidence. This has nothing to do with your physical appearance or how much muscle you carry. It's about the energy you bring into any space you occupy. When you walk into a room, do you take up space with quiet self-assurance or do you contract, scanning for approval, adjusting yourself based on who's watching? Women register this in seconds. A man who moves with calm intention, who isn't performing or seeking validation, who exists comfortably without needing external feedback, sends a message without opening his mouth. He communicates value through his mere presence. That kind of self-possession is rare, and rarity creates attraction faster than any rehearsed line or expensive gesture ever could. Picture yourself at a social gathering. Instead of nervously scanning the room trying to figure out where you belong, you simply relax. Your posture opens. Your breathing deepens. You observe the environment without anxiety, without need. You're not trying to prove anything. You're just there, grounded in your own body. That shift alone changes how women perceive you. Her subconscious picks up on it immediately. She feels something different. Not because you performed better, but because you became more centered in yourself. This is what masculine presence actually means. Not dominance, not aggression. Just the ability to exist without requiring constant reassurance from your environment that you're acceptable. Mechanism 2, strategic friction. Most men are terrified of creating any disagreement with a woman they find attractive. They nod along with everything she says. They avoid any hint of conflict. They think harmony equals attraction. But here's the reality. Friction isn't conflict. Friction is fuel. When you lightly challenge her perspective, when you tease playfully, when you don't just mirror everything she says, you create polarity. And polarity generates magnetism. For instance, she mentions she's a morning person who loves waking up at dawn. Instead of enthusiastically agreeing, you smile slightly and say, "Really? You strike me as someone who'd have a complicated relationship with the snooze button." It's light. It's playful. It's not mean, but it's not agreement for the sake of avoiding tension. That small moment of challenge demonstrates confidence. It shows you're not afraid to have your own perspective. You're not trying to win approval by becoming a mirror of her opinions. You're engaging as an actual person with thoughts of your own. This creates electricity. Attraction needs contrast, not constant smoothness. When everything is agreeable and frictionless, there's no charge. But when there is playful push and pull, her attention sharpens. She becomes more engaged because you're not predictable. If this is landing for you, hit that like button. It helps more men discover content that actually explains what they were never taught. Mechanism 3, controlled availability. This is where most men completely sabotage themselves. They give too much attention too early. Immediate text responses, dropping everything when she's free. Constant availability at all hours. And the female brain interprets this as low value, not because women are cruel, but because her psychology is calibrated to respond to signals of worth. And a man with options, a man with a meaningful life, isn't always accessible. You need to be interested in her, but equally interested in things beyond her. Direction is attractive. When you have pursuits, goals, friendships, projects that matter to you, your time becomes valuable. You stop revolving your world around her, and that absence of neediness makes her curious. She starts feeling drawn toward a man who has substance, not someone who abandons his entire life the moment she appears. This isn't gameplay. It's maintaining your identity. It's refusing to collapse your existence into someone else's orbit. When you preserve that autonomy, scarcity naturally creates interest. Mechanism, active remembering. This isn't just hearing what she says. It's encoding the meaning behind her words and bringing it back into future interactions in ways that demonstrate you were genuinely present. Emotional connection grows from feeling truly seen. Most people never experience that. When you provide it, you become instantly memorable. For example, she mentions in passing that she's always been fascinated by vintage cameras. 2 weeks later, you're walking through an antique market and you sent her a photo of an old Polaroid camera at a stall with a simple message. Thought of you when I saw this. That level of attention carries weight. It's not grand or expensive, but it shows you were actually listening when she spoke. It shows her words mattered enough to stick in your memory. And attention, when combined with strength, becomes deeply attractive. This builds emotional connection faster than any physical compliment ever could because you're acknowledging who she is, not just what she looks like. Mechanism 5, grounded vulnerability. Many men think they need to appear flawless, unshakable, always in control. But women don't connect with perfection. They connect with authenticity delivered from a place of self-assurance. When you share something real, a challenge you faced, a lesson you learned through failure, a fear you've worked through without seeking pity or playing victim, you become relatable, human, grounded. Vulnerability paired with stability builds trust, and trust creates the conditions where desire can deepen beyond surface-level attraction. Strength isn't concealing your flaws. It's being secure enough in yourself that you can acknowledge them without apology or shame. That level of self-acceptance is magnetic because it's profoundly rare. Mechanism 6. Calibrated physical escalation. Science demonstrates that appropriate respectful touch releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone. But most men either avoid physical contact entirely out of fear or they escalate too aggressively and create discomfort. The key is gradual, natural progression. A brief touch on her forearm during laughter, a light shoulder contact while walking side by side. Nothing forced, nothing rushed, just natural moments of connection. These interactions create positive physical association. Her brain starts linking your presence with comfort and safety. She begins feeling at ease in your proximity. And that ease is what allows attraction to deepen organically. This isn't manipulation. It's understanding how human bonding works on a physiological level. When done with awareness and respect, it accelerates connection in a way that feels completely natural to both of you. Mechanism 7, emotional stability. Women are attracted to men who can hold space emotionally, who don't become reactive when things get tense, who can remain grounded when she's feeling overwhelmed. This doesn't mean fixing her problems or telling her what to do. It means being steady when her emotions are heightened, providing a calm presence that allows her to feel what she's feeling without you collapsing or escalating. Think about it. When she's stressed or upset, most men either immediately try to solve it, which frustrates her because she wasn't asking for solutions, or they get defensive and make it about themselves. But when you can simply be present, listen without needing to fix, and remain calm without absorbing her stress, you become a source of stability. And that stability is deeply attractive because most men can't provide it. Emotional steadiness isn't about control. It's about creating a container where emotions can exist without chaos. When you offer that, she feels safe expressing herself fully, and that safety accelerates connection faster than almost anything else. Mechanism 8, dynamic unpredictability. This is the most powerful mechanism, and it's the one uses correctly. The brain craves dopamine. Dopamine flows from rewarding uncertainty. When you're strategically unpredictable, you become fascinating. This doesn't mean being inconsistent or emotionally unstable. It doesn't mean hot and cold manipulation. It means existing in a dynamic range instead of being completely flat and predictable. Sometimes you're warm and open. Sometimes you're playful and challenging. Sometimes you initiate contact. Sometimes you create space. You maintain dimensionality not through deception, but through simply not revealing your entire hand immediately. Most men either become completely transparent too quickly, giving away every thought and feeling in the first few interactions, or they shut down entirely and become cold and distant. Neither creates sustained attraction. But when you exist in the middle, available but not desperate, interested but not needy, warm but not entirely predictable, you create a tension that keeps her thinking about you even when you're apart. Here's why this works. Complete predictability kills curiosity. Once she has you entirely figured out, once there's no depth left to discover, the dopamine stops. But when there's always something more beneath the surface, when you remain slightly enigmatic, her brain stays engaged. This is the difference between a man she understands completely after 3 conversations and forgets by the 4th, and a man she keeps thinking about weeks later, still trying to fully understand. The key is authenticity. You're not playing games. You're not being deliberately confusing. You're simply maintaining depth, revealing different aspects of yourself at different times, keeping the dynamic alive instead of letting it flatten into routine. Now, let's bring this together. You've got 8 psychological mechanisms: embodied confidence, strategic friction, controlled availability, active remembering, grounded vulnerability, calibrated physical escalation, emotional stability, and dynamic unpredictability. Each one serves a purpose. Together, they create the conditions where attraction grows organically instead of being manufactured or forced. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to become someone else. You just need to understand how these mechanisms work and integrate them into your natural way of showing up. Here's your step. Choose one of these mechanisms and focus on it this week. Maybe it's bringing more grounded energy into your interactions. Maybe it's practicing strategic friction instead of constant agreement. Maybe it's maintaining your own pursuits instead of becoming perpetually available. Start with one, build competence, then layer in another. If you made it to the end, drop a comment that says, "I watched till the end." I want to see who's actually committed to understanding this and evolving how they show up. And subscribe if you haven't yet. Every week, I'm breaking down psychology and attraction dynamics in ways that give you real understanding. Not surface level tactics, but actual comprehension of how desire works. Oh, and one more thing. I gave you 8 mechanisms today instead of the usual 7 most people discuss. That 8th one, dynamic unpredictability, is what separates men who create temporary interest from men who build lasting fascination. It's the difference between being liked and being unforgettable. All right, go apply this. Thanks for watching Personality with Ariba. If you enjoy videos about human personality, psychology, and behavior, make sure to subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon so you never miss any new videos. See you in the next video with another interesting personality insight. Until then, take care and keep improving yourself. This is Ariba, signing off.